Ladies and gentlemen, filmmakers and moviegoers alike, welcome to this week's episode of Critically Casual. Oops, I hit the wrong button.
Nice.
Welcome to Critically Casual. I'm your host, Srekcuf5, and joining me as always is the best hacker in the West, Dorkydev. I don't know. Hi, Dev.
Hi.
If you were in the
That was-
Matrix, do you think you'd be the person going into the Matrix, or would you one of the sheeple, or would you be one of the operators?
I'd probably be in the Matrix. Let's be real.
Yeah,
Like,
me too, probably. We probably are in the Matrix as far as we know.
No, I'm saying like I would be one of the people going into the in and out of the Matrix, like Jackie.
Okay. I'd probably still be plugged in and ignorant of my own world.
I see it. I'm not gonna lie. That honestly makes sense for both of us, right? Like me being that like kind of like always trying to like I don't know. I don't know how to put it, but like the way I think about things and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
like just makes me feel like I would.
Notice that not real.
I mean, part of it, being having a bipolar one with psychotic tendencies kind of helps, I'm on the brink.
Yeah, who knows? You
I don't
could honestly just be seeing parts of the fractured world,
Yeah,
reality, and
yeah,
you never know.
yeah, never know. You, on the other hand, you're a sheep.
Yeah, I'm definitely a sheep.
You're content.
Yep, I'm happy with. I got a new monitor. Of course, I'm content.
Uh-huh.
I've just upgraded my computer vision. I'm happy to sit here. Either way, let's start talking about this week's movies. Which this week, I have dubbed this show "Emotional Madness," as we talk about the Animatrix and then the Matrix Resurrections. Kind of abbreviated the titles in the opening screen here, but you get the idea.
Yep.
Anything you want to talk about before we start talking about these movies?
Not really.
No.
Let's just dive in.
This
is where we're going.
Let's just
So.
plug on in, stab ourselves in the brain, and connect to the dial-up internet that is the Animatrix.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. The Animatrix. Sorry, I'm doing some stuff on the side.
No worries. I don't blame you.
It was released on June 30th, 2003. Didn't really have like a theatrical release. Because it was kind of released as a bunch of shorts, which eventually was combined into one thing.
Mhm.
Can't remember where it was, because it was released 2003. Was it in between the two Matrixes? Yes, because the first Matrix Reloaded came out in May. So this came out afterwards, which is kind of stupid, okay? That when this like because the kid story's in here,
Uh-huh.
and you introduce the kid.
Yeah,
But
later. Yeah.
uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
See, this is not my first time watching this, the Animatrix.
Same.
Yeah, I was about
Been
to
a
say,
long
it's
time,
definitely
though.
not yours either. And I made sure to go sit down and write notes on each one of the little stories. And ultimately, by the end of everything, the last note that I wrote down was, this was kind of boring. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was definitely interesting. I loved the visuals that we got to see, and I liked the different art styles that we got for each story, and how some of them really made sense, and some of them were kind of like, why are we doing it? But by the end of it all, I was like, yeah, this is just 9 short stories thrown together into one movie. That's for sure.
Yep.
I wish there was something more that connected them all together. Maybe like a 10th episode where all the characters from all the episodes. I can't finish that sentence.
No.
Yeah.
No.
But you probably know where I was going with that.
I know where you're going with it.
Yeah. But no, ultimately there are a few things that I enjoyed. Like, if we just briefly go over the titles of each of the little 9 segment stories. There's the Second Renaissance, part 1 and 2, which was essentially how the humans lost to the robots.
Yep.
There's Program, which was a training program for a newly initiated, I guess.
Yep.
We have World Record, which is an athlete pushes himself to the limits of reality and almost breaks out of the Matrix.
Yep.
Kid Story, which is the kid and from Matrix 2 and 3 and how he escaped. Let's see, Beyond. Story of a girl who loses her cat and Broken Locations. That one was probably my least favorite out of all of these because, I mean, it was cool to see, like, the broken location.
But it does nothing with it afterwards.
Absolutely.
Like, it just ends.
Yeah. So, that one was
I agree fully, because I loved the art style and I loved where it was going, and then it just ends. I'm like, okay.
So that was...
Giving me nothing?
Yeah, that was very disappointing. Then we have A Detective Story, which is a black and white noir animated of a detective told to find Trinity, which was pretty interesting.
Yeah, no, I think that one was arguably one of the best.
We have Matriculate, which is how you can convert programs and robots to join the humans. And then the last one is The Final Flight of the Osiris, which is 3D animation, and it's the people that spotted the force of Sentinels attacking Zion from the surface. Out of all of these, my personal favorite was actually World Record. Like, I kind of like the one where the athlete who pushes himself to the limits of actually breaking himself and almost breaks his way out of the Matrix. And then by the end of it all, how his motivation and drive have almost not stopped him yet, and he's almost the one, it seems, in that one moment where it's like...
Kinda, wow.
Yeah. Where he can kind of manipulate the Matrix himself, but... You know.
Not at the same time?
Yeah. I also liked with Kid Story, I like the animation style for that one the most, or other than with the World Record, because with World Record, the reason why I like it is the crazy distortions with the guy's face as he's pushing himself harder and faster, and it looks so like surreal and mutated, almost like can't remember his name right now, famous artist, but still.
Picasso?
Yes.
Okay.
Almost like a Picasso with how much things are twisting. And then my second favorite was I liked Kid Stories animation itself, because I liked the whole scratchy, not even fully realized animation style where it was like, is this world real? Is what I'm experiencing real? And then once he breaks out, everything's a little more solidified and real. It was cool. The Beyond, like I said, was my least favorite. A Detective Story I thought was interesting, but it was also kind of boring at the end. I didn't write any notes on that one, as well as Beyond. Let's see here. With the with Program, that one I thought was interesting because I liked the Japanese art style with the samurai kind of versus ninja aesthetic that they set up. But ultimately, that does nothing either.
Yeah.
And then with the second Renaissance, part 1 and part 2, I thought it was interesting to actually see the backstory of the world and how it was built up. But my favorite thing about it was the freaking name of the first robot, called B166ER, which if you push it together, it says bigger, as in there's a higher, bigger purpose. I'm like, that's clever.
Is it clever?
No. They just changed
Stop you right there. Is it?
Not really, no. I mean, it was interesting. I kind of wish they stuck with the whole you coming in to see a record, a log of a data file inside the Zion archive. I wish they did that through all of the shorts. But they
I feel like that would have been better.
Yeah, but they only did it in the first two, which I mean, it's okay. But I think it would have been better to connect them all.
Yeah, I definitely think like a connection, which is why I think I like the last flight of the Osiris the
Hmm.
best, because it actually connects to things that are relevant,
Hmm.
like the movies. Like, not to say the rest don't connect to the movies in some way, but like due to art style or like due to like maybe this is the first time this has happened kind of thing. Like you don't know if it really matters to the story that you're caring about
Hmm.
with the Matrix. Like the one where they or the one where they're on the surface doing like the robots thing. I'm like, but is this the first time this happened? Sixth time it's happened? Do I care either way?
Hmm.
No, because there's no connective tissue to the rest. Like I lose interest.
Yeah.
Um Also, you know me, I'm not a huge fan of like Goric shit. So like with the Renaissance,
Hmm.
um it
Yeah.
just
That's had some very weird animation and like detailed, gory artwork at the same time.
it's not my thing.
Hmm.
So, you
Definitely,
know.
one frame that very much sticks out to me is that like highly detailed human eye that they drew that was covered in maggots. Let's see here. The one reason why I ultimately don't like the final flight of the Osiris is how it begins with the very like hormonal, sexy, like strip sword fighting that they do.
I don't know. I'm a fan of that. I don't know why. It's fucking funny to me. Like that scene I think I saw earlier than I should have because I remember seeing that I think on Toonami.
Okay.
Um and I remember seeing it and going, "Oh, that's kind of funny because he does the thing and she does the
And then
thing." And I
she
was
does
like,
the thing, and it's like, oh,
"Yeah,
it's cute. They like each other.
I've always got a kick out of that one."
Hmm.
That scene right there, and that scene for some reason, like it's when I think the Matrix is honestly one of the first things I think of is that scene for some reason, like because it's different. Like you don't get a lot of like sexy sword fights in things, and the Matrix pulled it off
Yeah, in a
with an
way, yeah,
anime.
yeah.
Because like you know that they could have killed each other 16 times over,
Hmm.
but they're just slightly cutting each other's clothes off.
Oh.
I'm not gonna lie. There's something kind of rad about that. Like, that's a hell of a way to do foreplay.
But say they were definitely inches away from making out and falling in love with each other before the
Oh,
alarm started going
100%.
off.
So, yeah, like, I don't know. I've always got a kick out of that. Um, and then, where it goes after that, I think works for what it is. I wish, honestly, that's one that I wish was longer
Mhm.
out of them. Because I feel like if we got more time in the Matrix with her and stuff, I think it would have been better. Another one I wish we would have got was the Noir one more, because that one's also one of my favorites from it.
Yeah,
The rest of them I just feel don't hit. I don't know why. They just don't.
I mean, I don't blame you. Like with the with a detective story, that one I like just because of the art style. I thought that was interesting, but I ultimately don't like it because it introduces us to a character who has nothing to do with anything in the end. Just another
Yeah.
side story that's thrown in there, which I mean is totally fine. Not really needed, I guess. Um, yeah, I don't really know. I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about in this one.
Um, yeah, I mean, outside of like, it's got some cool animation. It does do some world building for the thing, but like, outside of everything else, though, like, eh,
Eh,
I don't need it.
yeah, it exists.
Yeah.
I'd probably watch this again while on some illicit substances. I think that'd be pretty interesting because the artwork can definitely be trippy.
Agreed. Agreed.
I wouldn't watch the second Renaissance, but I'd watch the other seven videos. That's for sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see that one on that, because that shit would. Even some of the other ones honestly get a little like too dark. That I feel like it would fuck with a trip.
Like Kid Story is pretty dark.
But it doesn't get gory. I feel like the moment it gets gory, it could fuck up a trip.
World Record has one moment that's kind of gory, but it doesn't show blood at all. This is the black explosion.
Yeah.
Second Story's fine. Matriculate, I think would be okay up until the final scream.
I mean, it gets that when they get attacked.
Yeah, maybe that too. Maybe I won't watch this while on substances. Not unless I plan to have a really bad time. I guess I'm good to give you your popcorn kernels if you are.
Give me a second.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm doing some math as we're doing this. Honestly, overall for this movie, I think I'm gonna give it. I think I'm just gonna give it a 5.
Just
Overall, just a 5.
yeah, like there's nothing to really say it's a terrible movie.
Yeah.
It just kind of exists.
Yeah, that would be it. It just kind of exists. So.
For me, I would give this movie a 5 as well.
All right. So that puts it at a 5 overall.
Solid 5s. Oh my goodness. Okay. Here. There we go. Okay. Let's move on. Second movie. We're getting in here. Let's start talking about The Matrix. Oh, I spelt this wrong. Fuck me. The Matrix Resurrections.
You fucking dumbass.
Yeah. I don't know how or why I even fucked that up. I'm not fixing it.
Anyways, this was released December 22nd of 2021 with a opening weekend US and Canada of 12 million, gross US and Canada 24 million, and worldwide 68 million. Not shocking that it's underperforming, given, in my honest opinion, I really don't know what this movie was trying to do.
Yeah. I only got to see this movie once. That was all the time I had for this. And my deepest feeling that I have, like the most emotion that I have, is I missed something. Somewhere. I don't know what it is. I don't know how many times that I'm going to have to watch this before it makes more sense, but it definitely doesn't deserve the amount of times that I'm going to have to watch it to make it make sense. If that makes sense.
That makes sense. Steven, I had the same feeling. So last night I watched it before today. Nothing has changed. I have the same opinion. I have talked to my boss about this because he saw it and he's like, I didn't like it. I talked to my coworker who I've worked with for 5 years about it. And I'm like, did you see it? And he's like, yeah, I didn't like it. Every person I have talked to that I've known for a while has not enjoyed it. Or the people who enjoyed it, like the people who say they've enjoyed it have said it's, it's all right. Like, I haven't heard someone like rave about this.
Yeah.
Like, I think the problem, like, I don't mind some of the meta shit. Okay. I think it's kind of funny. Some of the meta shit. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. It's kind of funny. Oh, it's a video game. Okay. That can work. You could make that work, but they don't make it work. And I don't know, like, this movie's trying to like do a lot, but it's not doing anything at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what's going on with it. Like, I'm trying to, like, I don't want to dislike it, but I don't like it, Steven. I just don't like it that much. I would rather watch Reloaded and Revolutions over this. I hate saying it, but I would rather, because it's more entertaining. The fighting is cooler in those. Like, sure, it's like bouncy CGI fighting, but like, it's kind of cool. Like, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah,
This hurts, man.
For
it
me,
hurts.
that's probably, strangely enough, the action in this movie is probably the most disappointing thing.
Right?
Because the movie, The Matrix, is so amazing when it comes to the hand-to-hand fighting and the gung fu that we get, and like there's a great mixture of like guns and kung fu. While in this movie, all of the fight scenes feel like a jumbled mess, except for maybe the what's his name? The Jonathan Groff versus Keanu Reeves fight. Like that one was kind of okay, but even that one was so minor and like
I would say the best fight is Keanu versus Yayo Abdul Mateen II as Morpheus.
I would
I
just
think
call him
of their fight. Yaya?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just you gave everyone else's full names first as we introduce them.
I got
I think Yaya and Keanu's fight was good,
mm-hmm.
and it sucks as it's one of the first fights. Like,
I definitely liked it. Like that was definitely one of the more interesting moments. For sure. But part of the reason why I don't like that one is just because it doesn't feel as good as the scene that it's drawing from. Like the original version of that fight was so cool and incredibly enlightening as we, the audience, get to see what a person can push past once they ignore what they perceive to be their limits. And then in this movie, this whole movie is a callback. So
yeah, and like callbacks can work, okay? Literally last week we proved that.
Yeah.
Last week was proof that a callback can work.
Yeah, that's definitely you gave it a 10 out of 10. I gave it an 8 out of 10. Yeah.
Like, it's proof that you could do a good movie that draws on something from 20 fucking years ago. Like, I can't parallel these two movies anymore. Like there are new people to the franchise. There are old people to the franchise. So these two movies have a lot in common. No Way Home and this. And like, bro, one did it right.
Yeah.
This one it was missing something. And I can't put my fucking finger on exactly what it was missing, other than it was missing everything. Like, because I can't find a thing that I truly like stood out and liked. Like the acting's not bad. Like, don't get me wrong, the acting's all right. Like, I mean, I don't expect for Keanu from where he is now to kind of act like he did back in the early 2000s was kind of fun, in my opinion. Like, because we've seen him progress as an actor a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he can be a little one note, but he has progressed as an actor. We've seen it. Like Neo is not John Wick. You know what I mean? They are different characters. And it was kind of cool to see him kind of not regress, but like kind of fall back into that how his character was, kind of a blank slate and stuff. But the problem with that is like he's not supposed to be anymore after that point. And just like the bullshit they come up with, and like, bro, like
there's a lot of bullshit in this
There's
movie.
a character who shows up in this movie, and you're gonna know who it is.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Who doesn't need to be in this movie.
He just shows up and leaves.
He shows up and leaves, saying he'll be in a sequel. Literally. Sequel franchise reboot. I'm pretty sure is what he said. Like, that was one of the scenes I try to listen to, and he talks really fast. And I'm like, why are you in this movie?
Hmm.
To do nothing.
To
You're
be
literally there.
interesting.
You're not there for
Yeah,
any
no. Like there's
reason. You're
so
there
many
because you were
moments.
the last ones.
Yeah. And there's a lot of moments like that too. But there's also a lot of moments that I kind of find okay-ish. Like I liked the bathroom scene with Yaya and Neo or Keanu. I thought that one was pretty interesting. Um I liked for a
I
little
think
while.
for Yaya, I think he does a good job of being this, not trying to be Martin Lawrence or Lawrence Fishburne. Jesus Christ, where am I going? Wrong Lawrence. Fuck. Um.
Tried though. And you corrected yourself, so that's even
Yeah.
better.
Just I Lawrence's, dude.
Yeah. Martin Lawrence Fishburne.
That would be a hell of a name to give a kid. That would be an awesome name for a kid, actually. If your last name is Fishburne, you're naming your kid Martin Lawrence Fishburne.
You're
That's
welcome for
awesome.
that.
Yes. Um. So, like, I think he does a great job though in his like attempt at Morpheus, because it's not quite Morpheus and it's not supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I think he does a really good job of playing into those scenes well. And I wish we dived deeper into that, because there are some moments where what he's talking about is really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like the scene with the mirror when they're talking about it, and like,
Mm-hmm.
is this really what actually happened,
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. And you're like, oh, that's actually kind of interesting. I wonder where that would go. Nowhere.
Mm.
It's
And
just brought up.
there are small moments like that in the original movies too, but at least in the original movies they were more fun. Like the whole maybe chicken tastes like everything, or chicken, why does chicken taste like everything? I love that conversation, but that also had nothing to do with the whole movie other than it makes you think, you know?
Yeah.
And that question was supposed to make you think, sure, but not, it doesn't quite do it the same way. And a lot of this movie, like the reason why I want to watch it the second time is I think I kind of understand, and the plot of this movie, like the whole point I think that it's trying to connect to is so hard to say. Like it's hard to pinpoint, but I think ultimately what the Wachowski sister was trying to do was she was
Lana?
yeah,
Lena? Is it
think-
Lena or Lana?
I think it's Lana.
Okay.
Lily and Lana Wachowski. But Lana this time around, I think what she was trying to do was try to tell a story about human emotion. And it's kind of hinted at a little with the Analyst. I don't know if we want to spoil who plays him or not. But
I'll leave that up to you.
I'll leave it be for now. I'll just keep calling him the Analyst character.
Yeah.
When it comes
If
to
you have IMDb up, you know.
yeah, you know. But with the Analyst, he talks about moments of like how humans only need one thing, and it's the emotions, and their emotions set their reality, and it just gets really complex when you try to mix that kind of thing, where I think it's not necessarily like a politically driven movie. It's not a message about economics or race or
Despite the movie literally making jokes about that.
yeah. It a lot of the movie is a self-aware comedy and of itself, but it's like
In my opinion, for its detriment.
for its detriment at times, absolutely. But I think the whole point of it is supposed to be self-referential in the fact that there's literally a whole segment of this movie where people are talking about what the Matrix means, and everybody has a different explanation. Everybody says something different about the Matrix. And I feel like that's part of the joke that's trying to be said.
Yeah.
I feel like what was trying to happen in this, Lana was trying to go for a much more complex approach into meta humor and meta commentary, especially in the fact that the Matrix exists within the Matrix. So now, if
Yeah.
people are informed of it, then they'll just assume that they're talking about the video game and not the world that they live in. So it just kind of it redefines and resets the whole like preconceived notion. Like it sets the preconceived notion and locks them into the notion that I am in the real world, and that's that basically. And that's why a lot of this movie is different,
Yes.
because people and the way they react and the way they emote and the way they analyze things are different. But
Yeah.
it's not done well, I don't feel. Like, if it's supposed to be this meta commentary about how we digest and analyze film, I didn't think it was done properly.
And my problem with it too, like, it just like I think it kind of gets lost in its own sauce. Like that's how I'm gonna put it. Like, there are some moments where like there's a lot like my problem with this too, like it has some really cool concepts, but it just doesn't do anything with it. Oh, there's this robot like there's robot characters, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But we don't do anything with them. There's program characters, but we don't do anything about it. There's a matrix within the matrix. We don't do anything about it.
Yeah, that's one that I
Like
want to talk about once we get into spoilers.
like dude,
That
there's
makes
just
sense.
it just like there's a lot of things that like would be fascinating to go into. There's this thing about like the word real being brought up so many times.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't go anywhere. I'm sorry. Like, you can't say that word that many times to a character and it not go anywhere. Okay? Because literally it happens. Like, and he brings it up, and then it ends there.
Well, I think that one, honestly, why it ends there is because that's no longer the point of the movie anymore. Like in the beginning, the whole point is they're talking about the self-referentialness and they're talking about the self-meta humor, but they also have a good discussion, I feel, about mental health. And once they get past that barrier where it's no longer a story of mental health, but it's a story of control, then that's when I think that they get rid of the whole real concept.
Okay, my problem with that is from what the story's trying to tell, it makes me question if it's real.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
And
that was the question.
we end up in the same problem of an unanswered question from Revolutions.
I was about to say, that was the same way that
it's-
ended Revolutions.
Is it real?
And the answer, we don't know.
We don't know. I'm sorry. You literally cannot do this. I feel it is a crime, a movie crime, to literally bring it kind of up in all, we'll call it 3.5 movies. To a point, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's brought up throughout it, the series, in a way, kind of hinted at in the first one. Kind of more actually discussed a little bit in the next two. And then literally it is talked about in the sense of, oh, you're real. You're real. You're real. You're real. But is it real? We don't know.
Hey, you're not centered anymore, by the way.
I know. I've noticed as this has been going on that this is happening. Okay. I'm not worried about it right now. It's pissing me off though. It pisses me off because it's just like, bro, you can't like use a word like that over and over and over and over and not do something with it.
Mm.
Because like the more you repeat it early in the movie, okay, this is like the first half of the movie that this is said about. And you know what? One point I will give this movie, it doesn't feel long, at least. Like, I will say that. For being like a 2.5-hour movie, it doesn't feel like you're there forever.
Yeah,
so I will give it credit for that.
I feel like each moment that you sit down and you pay attention, it takes you to a next stage that's a little interesting and it can keep you drawn in. That, at the very least, it's well paced.
Yeah, it's
for
well paced.
the...
It is well paced. It's far better paced than Revolutions. But for some reason, I'd rather watch Revolutions. I would rather see CGI Smith punched in the face than this again. The only reason I would rewatch this is to kind of, it's almost like torture at this point, because I feel like you're right. It feels like you're missing something, and I hate it for that.
I was actually afraid of this week. I was genuinely worried that we weren't going to be able to completely understand what was going to happen in this movie. And my fears kind of came true, because I feel like we're missing something. This can't be such a surface level movie that we kind of think we're seeing here. But that's all we kind of see here is...
But the way it talks about itself, it doesn't feel that way.
Yeah.
So you're like, am I missing something? Am I fucking it's the fucking Matrix.
Like, it is missing the fucking something.
Matrix. And you're talking about it as the Matrix. Like, you know it's the Matrix. And you're talking about it in such a way. And you're like, but it's so surface level, bro. It's like you're just skating across ice to get to the points. And it doesn't feel like it should be that way. And so you're questioning it. You're like, did I miss something relevant on this? But you didn't. You fucking didn't. Trust me. I've seen it twice. I'll probably see it again later. And I'll probably still have the same opinion. I haven't missed shit.
Good rant.
I haven't had one of those in a bit.
Doesn't sound like you feel any better, though.
I don't. I guess I'm not. It's not. Steven, I'm not. The light's green in here, but I don't care. Like, I don't think this rant can end, kind of thing, if that makes sense. I feel like I would just be spinning in circles talking about this, because it's just like, am I missing something? I don't feel like I'm missing something because it doesn't give me anything else. But it feels like I'm missing something because of the language it says. And it's just vicious cycle of, is it the Matrix or not? And it's not the Matrix. Like, it's just not. You're better off ending at Revolutions. Okay, just stop there. Just stop watching there. Don't torture yourself with this, because if you like the Matrix, you're gonna sit there being like, did I miss something?
I mean, I've heard a lot of mixed results for this. But I feel like, oddly enough, I've seen a lot of people who are like, you missed the point of the Matrix Resurrections. And it's like, did I? Is there a deeper meaning here?
Dude, send them my way so I can ask them, because I seriously have questions. Because I can't, dude. I don't know. I feel like I'm genuinely missing something, but I can't see what I'm missing. Which is bullshit, because, like, I get what the fucking Matrix is trying to go about. Like, God damn it, man.
One thing that I enjoyed, too, with, like, this movie is with one of our new characters that we get. I think her name is Bugs, played by Jessica Henwick. One of the things that she says is choice is an illusion. And I feel like that is something that we should keep in mind with this movie too, as it goes through each of the moments. Like, we don't really have a choice, according to this, which makes me think about time and, like, Hindu, Buddhist philosophies, where they believe time is circular and how nothing you do matters, because by the end of it, time is circular, so things are going to repeat again. And that's kind of talked about in this movie as well, for a brief moment. But the difference is that this time around, Neo has changed things a little bit. Like, they're not nearly as bad off as they were, which is cool, especially because it's 60 years later. And I do like the subtle changes that we do get to see with inside the Matrix as well as outside the Matrix. But I ultimately got to say, I'm disappointed. And my main cause of this disappointment is, what is the point?
What? Yeah, dude, I feel like I wasted time. I've wasted 5 hours trying to figure out the point.
Like, I don't feel like I've wasted time yet, because I do like this little puzzle that they've kind of put us into, where we kind of try to figure things out. But also, at the end of things,
I don't
like,
think there is anything to figure out is the problem.
I know. And especially, too, because what's the point of them finding Neo? What's the point of finding Trinity? What's the point of this whole movie? Like, why
What's
did
the
they...
point of the end?
Yeah. To tell us that there's going to be more movies, I think, is the answer to that one. But still...
Did we need that, though?
No?
I don't know, man. I feel like a part of me died with this movie.
Yeah, especially, too, with... Like, don't get me wrong, I think out of everything, my favorite segment was the final action segment. Just because it is very horrific. It is horrifying to see the stuff that happens at the end of this movie. So, if you're...
I didn't find it that horrifying.
It's kind of creepy. Like,
sure, creepy, but like...
still. Well,
I'm going to say this. Don't take offense to this. Because it can work under context, but it doesn't work here. But you spilt some horror in my Matrix.
mm-hmm. I mean, yeah. People talk about horror being a part of the Matrix, too. Like, it's kind of a part of it, but not really. Because a lot...
It can be.
Yeah, in the early 2000s, a lot of people were afraid of technology. So
Yes.
having a movie based around the fear of technology taking over...
And that's where horror can work in the Matrix,
Mhm.
okay? That's where you're putting in, you're adding some sugar to your whatever cereal you eat. That's adding horror to the Matrix, right? That works.
Mhm.
Then someone went over to the bag of horror and went, I'm going to put a ladle in there and dump it.
No,
For
what
that
they did
climax
is...
They literally dumped it.
It's like the 2 scoops of raisins, but it's 2 scoops of zombies. Just...
Yes, 100%. Because, like, the concept is kind of cool when it's introduced, but where it goes, I'm like, oh, God, do we
where
really
it is
need
in
to
the
go
end.
there?
Mhm.
I'm sorry, but I'm like, dude, this has been outplayed for a while to the point that it's a dead genre. To the point, the show that defines the genre is ending.
Yeah. Yeah. But
I'm
there's
sorry.
spin-off shows.
I'm pretty sure that's going to end too at some point soon.
At some point, yes. Probably not soon.
I give it like a year or two.
Yeah, probably 2 years.
And like even some of the shots, like I don't think are like I don't even know if I consider like this movie's not shot bad, but like I don't know if there's any shots that I'm like, dude, that's stunning. Like I would think with the Matrix.
There are definitely moments that catch my attention, but no, I definitely think the same. But my favorite moment in this entire movie is only on screen for 1 second, and it's in the modal where you could see Neo walking through the Matrix City, and you could see like all the numbers and the buildings and the walls and stuff. Like that's my favorite moment, like visual in this movie. You don't get the really cool like impossible camera work. You don't get the really cool tight angles with the reflections. You don't get bullet time. At least not the way you think.
You get it once.
Kinda.
You get it once when his
When they get the gang
business
together,
partner,
right? Yeah.
no, when his business partner and the dude that we talked about showed up.
Hmm.
Because the business partner lifts up the gun and fires, and Neo does the.
Yeah, you see it for 1 second.
You get one shot of it.
Yeah,
okay?
you get one.
You get one
You
shot.
kinda get bullet time. Kinda.
You get one bullet time. That's it. That's all the kids need.
But yeah, which I gotta say, there's there's just a lot of random bullshit thrown in this movie. Really, ultimately, it's self-referential stuff, but I think by the end of it, I'd watch this at least 2 more times.
I've watched it twice. I don't know if I'll see it a third time if I'm watching it alone.
Want to go to popcorns before we head into spoilers?
I'll give you your popcorn.
All right. Me, only because I have more questions. And until I know, I want to see more. I'm going to give this a...
Okay. So, like, I'm kind of with you. I don't know if I'm a 5.5 or a 6, okay?
Mm-hmm.
My reasoning is, like, I would rather watch this than the Animatrix.
Yes. I also just remembered something that we didn't talk about.
What?
In Revolutions and Reloaded, they had rubbery CGI.
Yes.
But in this movie, it wasn't rubbery, but was very obvious. Like any moment that takes over the screen that's mostly CGI, you're like, oh god, this is completely different now. Like it doesn't blend in anymore. Like the scenery when somebody gets thrown out of a train, it's like the entire background is obviously fake. But like, I mean, scenery is supposed to be the easiest part to do in CG generation.
Well, I think it's supposed. I can't remember. Did everything from the backgrounds of the real world seem CGI?
Not to me.
Maybe that's on purpose then.
I mean, that's kind of a thing that I've heard recently with this movie is, at least with the rubberiness of the bad CGI in the last movie, it could be explained away due to like technical abilities of what the Matrix could do.
Yes.
Like it could only render so many Agent Smiths in one area when they're all doing something, kind of thing. But in this movie, it just seems like almost all of the action scenes turn into fake CGI mess.
Yeah.
I mean, even including the real life stuff, which sure, it could be real, it could not be real, but it still feels fake to me.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 5.5.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I'm falling on it. All right, so give me a moment before we get into spoilers, because there's one thing I want to do before we get there.
Okay.
Or do we want to do it during roundup? Do we want to do our year of stuff after spoilers?
Yeah, let's do after spoilers. I like that better.
Okay.
Let's get ready to spoil!
Okay. Got a little adding up that I'm doing on the side then. While you're talking. So I'll let you start then.
All right, let's start talking about spoilers for the Matrix. So, for the reason why I didn't talk about Yahya as Morpheus is because his character and what it's supposed to be in this movie. Which
I didn't reveal more past it.
Yeah.
He's obviously Morpheus if you've seen a trailer.
Yes. But the reason why he's Morpheus but not Morpheus is because this Morpheus was a program created by Neo while within the Matrix. So it's a program created within a program. Look like Morpheus, but also at the same time, it's supposed to be a part of Agent Smith. It's supposed to be this like paradox, well, complex thing that's apparently a way for Neo to help himself to escape the Matrix. Because he needs a Morpheus to get him out, supposedly. Everyone has their roles to play.
That like is both people that like highly impacted his way of thinking.
Yeah. But then we also have Jonathan Groff, who plays Smith. Mr. Smith. I mean, it's supposed to be Agent Smith, but the way it's described is it's a new Matrix, everything has changed, and that's why Jonathan Groff as Mr. Smith is a different looking person. Even though they still have...
he was just reprofiled.
Yeah, even though I think it's weird that Trinity and Neo are also essentially reprofiled, but they could still see themselves and each other in their mind's eye. But they can't see Agent Smith inside Jonathan. Plus, like with Jonathan Groff, I don't mind him as an Agent Smith. It was okay, but it was nothing like Hugo Weaving.
Oh God, no! Like it's not even fair.
Yeah,
like
there's no comparison between them. especially
one of the problems is that it literally cuts to like scenes of Hugo talking
over
between
top of
like
him.
yeah,
Yeah, that's one of the
billions of people
one of my
living out their
least
lives.
favorite scenes is not. It's kind of like how people get angry about Dumbledore and the Goblet of Fire, where it's like, "Did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?" When in the books, it's like, "Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?" Like, there's a line in this movie where Jonathan Groff, as sprinklers are coming down, and he's looking at Neo, and instead of going, "Mr. Anderson," he screams. He's like, "Mr.
Anderson!
Yeah. And it's not.
And then Neo just goes, no.
Yeah, and it's not nearly the same. It doesn't. Like, just thinking about freaking Hugo Weaving as Agent Smith gives me chills. But just thinking about Jonathan Groff as Smith, no, I don't like it.
Yeah, and it's I feel like he would have been fine too in the role if we didn't have Hugo Weaving before. Like straight up. Like it's not even fair.
I mean, but then we also, so we have a replacement Smith, we have the replacement Morpheus. This time around, we've also got a replacement architect, but now he's called the Analyst.
Yes.
Played by Neil Patrick Harris.
Man, not gonna lie. I did not like Neil Patrick Harris in this movie.
As soon as I saw him on screen, I was like, oh, he's the bad guy. And it's just because this movie tries to do interesting things with colors.
And he's got the blue glasses.
Everything about him's blue, not just his glasses, including the outfit he's wearing. It's a blue outfit.
Man, I don't remember. I'm just stuck on the glasses.
I made sure, like, I saw the blue glasses.
It's
and I was
too
like,
obvious with the blue glasses.
yeah, I saw the blue glasses. I was like, okay, that's a little obvious. But then I made sure to look closer, and I was like, okay, everything's blue on him. All right.
His glasses being blue and the cat deja vu, and I went, he's the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's all it took for me. I'm like, he's the bad guy. I didn't need to analyze anything else past that. Like, and dude, like, I just, the moment he the reveal of him, and I'm like, you're just so smarmy.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, you're not an enjoyable villain here right now. Like, not to say the architect was an enjoyable villain. Don't get me wrong,
but
he wasn't.
But at least with the architect, it seemed more calculated and then controlled. And with this,
even with the architect, we had Smith as a foil.
Yeah. Which in this movie, Smith is supposed to still be Neo's foil. It's weird. Neo is a duel with too many things. Like, he is, if Smith is 1 or 0, Neo is 1. But at the same time, if Neo is Yang, then Trinity is Yang. And like,
well, like, yeah, like my thing about it too is like, it, like, Trinity being like around, like, dude, I just can we talk about Trinity for a second? So are there 3 ones then by default? Because like,
if Smith is still considered a 1, I would say yes.
Okay, then maybe are there 4?
Who's the
because
4th?
Obviously Morpheus is probably a 1 then, because like there's the Trinity. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. The Father,
took
the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
Them. Yeah, her name has meaning, obviously, because Neo's name means 1. Morpheus, I can't remember. He's an angel, right? Morpheus is the name.
I believe so. Let me double check.
Like, all 3 of them are connected. And then if Smith is 0, he's 0, right? Like, he's a program.
So Morpheus is the Greco-Roman god of sleep. What I see here.
So relevant. And just, dude, her having powers just kind of breaks things.
Yeah, that one was a little like it works and doesn't work simultaneously.
It doesn't work because of the end, okay? Because they end it with them flying off
Both of them flying off together into the sunset.
to a remix of the song at the end of the Rise Against the Machine song at the end of the first Matrix.
Yeah, it ends the exact same way the first Matrix does.
Just with two people doing
two of them instead of one.
And I'm sorry. What? Like, that movie's. I'm like, dude, at the end of the movie, I'm like, I'm sorry. What? Just that whole end scene. It's just. I don't.
I mean,
I don't
it's so
know what we're
unneeded,
supposed to
especially
take away.
especially with like the Analyst. The whole like they can kill him and bring him back, and then kill him and then bring him back, and then it's like, oh, by the way, we're changing things now. Okay, bye. Whee! Yeah.
Like, you really don't. This isn't what you think it is. I'm sorry, you didn't hit it. Like,
Mm-mm.
I
mean, but it happens with
like
many
I was
things
talking
in this
about like
movie,
I
too.
was talking about like remixes for songs, and like with Top Gun, I'm hoping that one song, that is, hold on, Top Gun. Oh wait, hold on. Give me a second. Give me a second.
Holding, I'm waiting.
I don't even
Holding
have
on
to
for-
look up Top Gun.
Excuse me. I want to talk about my favorite part.
So I own the Top Gun soundtrack.
Okay.
So let me. It's what song is it? I think it's "Take My Breath Away." Well, let me look it up.
You're hoping either way, you're hoping that song sounds good in the new Top Gun remix.
Well, there's a remix of the song that was playing on punk rock radio that my boss plays when he's in the back. In the back.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make sure really quick that it's the right song. Because if it's right, it's "Take My Breath Away" by Berlin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, it's not that. Oh right, that's the love song. Hold on.
Either way, I think I get the point. I feel like you're going too much into detail for something that doesn't matter for what we're talking about.
Yeah, probably. I'll figure out which song it is here soon.
Because there is one song in this movie that I did like and how it was remade, which is White Rabbit. I like that it's the trailer song. I like that song in this movie.
It is good.
Yeah. It's a good song.
That was a good choice for the trailer. It was a good choice for the movie.
Bless you.
Like that was good. But I'm trying to make a point with this. Let me see. Because there's a point I'm trying to make here. Is it that song? No. God damn it. Sorry. This is actually like I have a point here. Oh, back. Damn it. Oh, god damn it. It's a very specific song. Fuck it, I'm going to Gun soundtrack on Spotify because I can just rapid play through these.
Still so much more I want to talk about.
Keep talking about this.
Because other things to talk about, I want to talk about, is all the other stuff that they threw in this movie that kind of didn't need to be here. They still decided that they wanted it in there anyway.
Yes,
Like-
there's lots.
Like Sati. Oh my goodness. Thank goodness she's back to help us figure out how to save Trinity. Don't know whatever we would have done without her.
Yeah.
Merovingian, or the Frenchman, as some people.
The dude, him being in this movie is bullshit.
Absolutely. He shows up for a fight scene, looks like freaking Robin Williams from Jumanji, and then leaves. That's the end of him. But the only reason he was brought back was because of Agent Smith, which makes me wonder, where the hell did Agent Smith find the Merovingian and all these exiles, as they're called, which were all supposed to be purged? Which, that sounds like a pretty interesting movie, seeing the purging of the Matrix. You know what else sounds like an interesting movie? The robot civil war that happened. That would have been a cool movie to see. Why didn't they do those as an Animatrix style thing? Who knows? Let's see. Interesting character that I liked that they brought back was Niobe. But at the same time, I don't like what they've done, because she goes from being a stubborn-headed but strong and like independent woman, being somebody who would rather hide away and like would not do anything. I think I'm pretty sure one of the lines in this movie is, you care more about growing strawberries over saving people, which is kind of true. That's how Niobe is in this movie, because all she cares about is maintaining the status quo of Io, I believe it's called. And that in itself is also another prison that they've established. It's basically another Matrix that they've set up for themselves, but they don't realize that yet. That's why I kind of like Bugs in this movie. She's the one that I think Niobe used, like the closest character that I like, that's kind of like, I don't give a damn, I'm just gonna do it because we need to save people. And I kind of appreciate that. But then ultimately, why the hell did they need to save Neo? Why the hell did they save Trinity? Like, there's a war that's happening, I guess, but they're not actively fighting in this war of humans and robots versus evil robots, because they're hiding and they could stay hidden pretty effectively now. So they don't need the fight. So it's like, what was the point of saving Neo other than to be like, we saved a legend? And
it just doesn't, there's not a purpose.
Yeah,
it feels like this movie doesn't have a purpose.
Other than to be a...
And that's why the whole real thing pisses me off. I don't know actually if this song was part of Top Gun, now that I think about it. My brain might have just like subliminally connected the two together somehow. And I don't know how that happened. I'm trying to figure out what movie that is connected to now, and I don't know. Anyways, like, dude, there's a like, that's why the real thing pissed me off. Okay, because if it had been revealed that the real world was in a Matrix, okay, in this movie, I feel like there would have been a point. But instead, it becomes a damsel in distress, let's save the girl movie.
Until she is saved, and then she becomes the one.
But she does one thing, and it's like it's trying to flip the thing on its head, but at that point, like, we knew she's capable of stuff that she did already, like the bike stuff. It's just the thing that they flipped on the head was, like, she's the one flying.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like, for me, that I'm okay with that, personally, just because how the new Matrix is built. Because this new Matrix was built primarily around Neo and Trinity together.
Yeah, no, 100%. It makes sense why she has powers.
Yeah, so...
that.
Yeah. And though it doesn't make sense to me, because it's like, oh, she can't do anything, she barely remembers who she is. Then they touch and everything explodes. But then after that, they explode, literally. Like, they get hit with a missile. She wakes up with a concussion, and she's like, wow, the world's beautiful. And then she can fly.
As you can kind of see the code.
Yeah.
That's her seeing the code and being learned to do that, by the way.
Yeah.
My problem with it is that, like, I feel like it's trying to be something it's not at that point, because I'm not going to lie, at that point, up until, like, yeah, sure, she got out of there with a motorcycle chase, but she's always been able to do that. Like, I feel like it's I hate saying this. It feels like a MacGuffin out of it that feels really obvious is going to happen. So it's kind of set up, I guess. But, like, I don't know how to put it because it's not a MacGuffin. It is slightly set up. I don't know how to
Deus
put
Ex?
Wyatt. Kind of, but but it is kind of set up a little bit beforehand because you're like, if you're paying attention, you're like, of course she's got powers at the end, duh, because the whole like, we had to keep you guys separated. Ooh, ooh. But like, there's just something that is, I guess for me, that's not what I wanted this movie to be.
No, I mean I can get that.
Because at the halfway point, they have said real too many goddamn times, and I know I'm hooked on this, but I can't unhook myself because that was an interesting concept that you were going with, and all of a sudden it saved the girl.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but this other movie.
Yeah, this other movie. Yeah, no. I mean, there's also more stuff in here that I think is completely dumb. Like, why the hell did we even need to meet the crew of the Nympha, whatever it's called, the new ship? Because ultimately, none of them matter except for the one woman, I think her name is Lexi, who's like, I wanted to be just like Trinity. And then they find Trinity. But then, that's also something I thought was kind of dumb because they literally had a woman who tried to model her whole life after trying to become Trinity. And then when somebody needs to become a backup brain for Trinity so she doesn't die when being unplugged, it's... Which, don't get me wrong, that moment was kind of cool in the Matrix where she like separates into the 5 different shadows, and it's like, that was kind of cool. But with the whole like, why doesn't it the character that wants to be, why does it have to be the one main character that we just met, the only memorable person, I guess. And then the freaking neoologist, whatever the fuck that is, but they had to bring it up.
The moment that was brought up, I'm like, oh no, we have neoologists? Oh no, why? Why did we need that? Oh, also the fact that it's 60 years, okay?
Yeah.
Why 60 years? Like, is it just so that we can bring Jaden Pinkett Smith back as Niobe? Is that why? Is that why? Like, far enough away that, like, I feel like it should have gone further away, okay?
I either think further or closer. Like, it would have been better 20 years later, I feel.
Yeah.
Because not much has changed.
Because also that, it would have been cool if Morpheus met Morpheus.
Yeah. But no, apparently Morpheus is dead. And it's led to believe that Morpheus died in the second war that started because he and everyone living in Zion was anti-robot still.
I don't think he was. I don't think they were anti-robot. They just didn't see the uprising coming, I guess, or something.
Yeah, they ignored it.
Really, I guess they don't really explain.
No. And
why?
Yeah, apparently Morpheus is dead. All of those candles in that cavern that looks like Zion are dead people, from what we're led to.
Don't really know why.
Yeah. My assumption is because the robots attack once the Analyst takes over. But
Yeah.
we don't really know why. One thing I wish they still did, like, I wish they did cell phones as their exit route rather than it could be anywhere the fuck they want. Or another fun one, I wish that Trinity's dream, where they see them crashing into the car, like in the second movie, I wish that they did actually crash into the car, but their exit was through the car's mirror. So that's how they were able to get out, because the whole, like, perspective, it gets bigger as you get closer type of thing.
Yeah.
But no, Trinity can fly, and then because she's flying, they unplug. That was the most anticlimactic part for me, was they jump off, she starts to fly them away, and then the very next scene is them unplugging.
They're just, yeah.
I was like, what? Why?
And then we get the end scene that we've bitched about, and then it's over. And I'm like, what the fuck did I just witness? Oh my god, did we get crawled by the Matrix?
Kind of. The difference is there was at least like a resolution to what happens after the story.
There?
Kind of. No longer, the analyst is no longer in charge. Kinda. End of the movie.
We find out about like suits. What the fuck are the suits, man?
Yeah, like especially too because the way we're led to believe it is Agent Smith, Mr. Jonathan Groff Smith, supposedly shoots Neil Patrick Harris. And then it's like, oh my god, Neil Patrick Harris, the analyst, he's gone. And then Mr. Smith is like, unlike you guys, I can be anybody. And then he disappears from the random person he was. And then...
He turns into the coffee shop person.
Yeah.
What happens to Smith?
Yeah. So yeah, what happens to Smith?
I'm sorry. You did that without any explanation at the end of the movie. Like, we have no... I'm sorry, there's no resolution. If arguably one of the most iconic characters of the franchise just morphed into someone else and we don't exactly have an explanation as to what that means. Is he Smith now or is Smith just gone?
That one. That was very obvious. The agent was changing from one body to the next to me. Because he still has his Agent Smith wherever he wants to be. He's the zero of the binary one. He still has all the powers.
Wait, is that what that implied?
I
that
think
he just left the body?
Yeah.
What?
So he is now...
I'm sorry, you actually blew my mind with that. That actually makes sense.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that he left that body and went to somewhere else.
Can they set that up better next time?
That'd be nice. Especially, too, because the fight that happens immediately afterwards is the swarm mode. And it's like, why are all these people attacking them? Is it because of Smith? Or is it because Neil Patrick Harris, who last we saw, was shot and killed? Only to not be shot and killed in the very end of the movie.
I shouldn't have to be on a podcast to get something in a movie like that. I'm sorry. That's something that should be like explained in the film.
Yeah, I get
you know what I mean.
Like in the past, we see the agents changing from body to body, so it makes sense.
But we've never seen Smith do that after the fucking first movie.
Yeah. So I get you. It is confusing.
We've seen him simulate. We've never seen him leave.
Mm-hmm.
What? We've never seen an agent leave a body.
That's true. Anytime an agent leaves is because the body's been killed. So.
You can't just do what?
Which also leads me to the part like the modal Morpheus, who's supposed to be an agent. Like he's going through his daily life thinking, I'm an agent. I know I'm a program, but here I am also still showering and putting on a nice suit and wondering if reality's real or not. Fuck.
I hate it. Oh.
I like Sequoia, played by Tony Onwumere. He was interesting. Yeah, I got nothing else. I think I'm done bitching finally.
What the fuck? What? You can't introduce a new concept at the end of the movie and expect us to get it. We've never seen an agent leave a body.
And he was like, what happened? Where am I? How did I get here?
Kiss, you wanna know what I thought happened?
Sure.
I thought they reprogrammed him to be that guy.
Oh, okay. I mean, that is an easily understandable mix-up.
I was like, so what happened to Smith?
I'm curious, too, because we talked about it a little bit. Bullet time. So, from what we understand in this movie, bullet time is essentially the slowdown of time, specifically from Neo's point of view? I guess? Even though the analyst has the ability to still move around and stuff through bullet time, but not like a perfect image. He's a juddery, like lagging person as he's going from one spot to the next. So but at the same time, they established that now Mr. Smith has the ability to move at super fast speeds while bullet time is happening. So it makes me wonder what's going to happen in the future, where we have a nerfed Neo with a buffed Trinity fighting Smith, and the general notion of people not wanting to leave the Matrix anymore. Yeah, I lost myself.
Everything you have said kind of pisses me off a little bit.
Don't blame me.
Oh god, if this better not get a sequel.
It's probably not gonna. Just with the mixed reviews of this one.
And the bombing of it, box office wise.
Yeah. I gotta say too, one thing I'm like, I know how blue and red are important colors, but I wish less characters wore blue. Like, why the hell is Bugs blue-haired, blue suit with blue glasses? Why is Sati and her machine also blue?
Yeah, for a movie where blue is very pivotal to being subdued.
Yeah. And
that's a fair point.
And then the red, the only time we see red is when they first get born out of the Matrix. And they're still
then it represents the machines.
Yeah.
I think they kind of lost the color theory in their movies. Okay.
Maybe.
I'm hitting it.
Moving on to news, everybody. So, news. Stuff to talk about. I think the Book of Boba Fett came out. First episode, at least. So,
yep.
If you're interested in more Star Wars property stuff, go see that.
Well, I gotta watch it real quick before streaming.
All right, nice. Sounds like a fun one to watch.
Yeah.
Let's see. News. I mean, this is the end of the year. Want to talk about your stuff, your numbers?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the year roundup for Critically Casual. This year's points and averages.
All right, everybody. So, real quick, just to refer to last year. So last year, hold on, let me look here. So, last year I gave out 686 points. Steven, you gave out 551 points. 551.5 points. And as a collective, we gave out 621.5 as our scores average, which meant overall last year I gave movies an average of a 5.5. I gave out more points, but I had a lower average than you.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. You gave out an average of a 6. And overall, we gave out an average of a 7, which was weird, okay? Because how averages works and scores and stuff like that. Because how we grade things. So, how do we compare to this year to last year, Steven? Without looking at it, how many points do you feel you've given out this year?
I feel like I've probably given out almost the exact same.
You are very wrong.
Damn, okay.
Maybe because we saw more movies? I don't know. Because we did have a couple single weeks last year.
We had at least
You've given out nearly 250 more points.
Damn, okay.
At 795.5 points.
Call me the critic.
Do you want to know what your average points were this year?
I'm assuming a 7.5.
An 8.
Damn. Apparently, I had a good year this year.
You had a good year.
It doesn't feel like it, but apparently I did.
And I did your average at 101. Okay, because you did the week with Danielle and Candyman.
Mm-hmm.
I'm averaging mine at 97 because I did not do Candyman. And I did not do the weeks of the Music Man and the musical week with Danielle. So I'm 4 below you. And I'm averaging critically casual at a 99.
Okay.
Because there's a week where it's just you, and we don't have an overall score for it. But there are weeks where we had a guest, so there's an average score for it. Fair?
Sure.
Okay. You want to guess how many points I gave out this year?
Total?
Yeah.
I'm going to guess somewhere around 450.
That was where we were in July. So, no.
650.
I gave out 743.5
Okay.
points. So I wasn't super far behind you. We were a lot closer this year than we were last year. Straight up. Do you want to guess my average?
An average of 5.
7.5.
Let's say it's not going to be much different, honestly.
No, well, this year, like, there was a bigger deficit between you and I earlier in the year, but the later in the year, because you give a more average score to yourself, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you kind of stay at the same baseline, and I'm more volatile. There's been more enjoyable movies towards the later end of the year. So our guests have given out a total of 33 points this year. With 3 movies and 5 scores, that gives an average of 6.5 rating for movies. It was a 6.6, but I rounded down because, it wasn't going to, yeah. Which leads us to the critically casual overall points. I will say it's in the middle of you and I at a 754.5 and an average score of 7.5. Which I feel like this year we were a lot closer.
Yeah,
overall.
That's pretty good.
So it's not bad. Not a bad thing. It's just different.
So I just found this article. Sorry. I'm bringing this up now because I'm still thinking about the Matrix.
That's fair.
The beginning of Matrix 4 starts with Jonathan Groff's character talking to Keanu and being like, so Warner Brothers has come to us and told us that we've got to make this sequel, and they're going to do it with or without us. And a lot of people are wondering, was that actually something that happened? Well, according to this article and a bunch of other articles like it, says here that producer James McTeague talked about the many WB attempts to bring back the franchise from the dead, with or without the Wachowskis.
It's not shocking.
I know, right?
I knew that would be that had to have been an in joke, 100%.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's ridiculous that it's 2 movies, both done by WB, that are both like, they want to make a sequel. Well, let's make a sequel.
Oh my god, and that was the week that I did the average points last.
Space Jam, yes.
Weird.
That's part of the reason why I said I wanted to bring it up in the middle of the show. The 2 weeks that Warner Brothers is like, is the year that we get weird stuff.
Also, weird thing Warner Brothers is doing, more and more. Ruby shows up in a lot of Warner Brother products, Ruby stuff.
Yeah, Ruby merch in the background.
Yeah. Weird.
Notice that too.
Because Blake's in the background of this. Ruby was in Dr. Sleep and in what is it? Ready Player One. Pretty sure there are probably some Rooster Teeth related properties inside the Space Jam arena.
I probably I haven't looked.
Yeah.
Sure, if you do, you'd find them.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels weird that that's a Warner Brothers property.
Rooster Teeth stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit. Talking about the ultimate sellout, am I right? Go from YouTube creators to being owned by Warner Brothers.
The ultimate sellout. I mean, and like, not to say they don't make great content. Like, Achievement Hunter still does great, and like, sure, Rooster Teeth comes out with some great stuff too. But like, if you've seen Genlock, you know that this train is maybe ending at some point. Not to say that I want Rooster Teeth to end, but like, bro, you can't have such a promising franchise and do what you did to it.
Yeah, I wanted to see season 2, but I might not now, based off of your
Me? Yeah.
review. Yeah,
Or torture yourself. Join me. Join me in the torture.
join you.
It's so bad that I haven't watched like the end of the last few episodes.
Oh, great. You might not know those last few episodes might really change it around for you.
Bro, where I left off, I'm like, I'm just done. I'm not enjoying this. Oh, also, like, if you're a guy, please don't yell you are esports. I don't know if you saw that going around.
You are esports?
There's this dude, his name's like Thorin. He's bitching about having like a women's like Rocket League or some shit. And like he's like, like in his tweets, he's like, I am esports.
I am the hype.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like blocking everyone who like bitches about him. So bitch about him here.
All right, you can't block us off Twitch. Oh, let's
Only
see.
Twitch can.
Oh yeah, and they'd be all for it. I haven't really found any other news, honestly. Nothing's caught my attention. Are there any more numbers and things you want to talk about?
Oh, we watched. If you count both the Candyman week, for you, there's been 101 movies on this year, which is too short of last year.
I was about to say we ended up missing a show this year.
Yes,
Makes
which
sense.
is really weird that we would have hit the exact same number of movies
Mhm.
despite having like, which means we had more triple weeks, I think, last year.
How? We should have 104 movies minimum, I would think. Because if there's 52 weeks in a year and we watch 2 movies a week, that'd be 104 movies. Some weeks we have 3 movies too. So how do we not have more than 104 movies each year?
There were 101 movies on the show this year. There was one week that we watched just one. And I don't know, I added it up. What do you want from me? I added up all the columns of 3. And that came to 33 movies because there were 11 weeks that we watched 3. There was 1 week we watched 1. And then there were what? Hold on. Then the other weeks.
Which week? Which one? Ah, Zack Snyder.
You know, maybe you're right. Did I fuck up on that one? Hold on. That might have been a miscalculation.
Then we'd have to do all the numbers over.
Ooh, there might have been a miscalculation, actually. Oh, shit. Yeah, I might have miscalculated because that would actually be... Oh, shit. I did mess up.
I don't think we have time to redo all the calculations, Dev.
No, there's not all calculations. It's just one calculation.
Okay.
Because I did a 9 instead of an 18. Changes a little bit of what happened. Okay, let me pull up a calculator again. Okay, real quick. So that adds 9 movies to the total of every total on there. So that means that I did 106 movies. You did 110 movies, which was the total for the year. Critically Casual overall did 108.
That makes more
scores.
sense.
Okay, this actually can change up the scores this year, which also explains why we have such higher scores this year. Because as a year overall, we enjoyed it more, and there were more movies. Okay, that makes sense. All right, let me do the quick math real quick.
Okay. Then once you're done with your math, we'll go over next year / next month's movies.
Yes.
Guess what?
So
This is the last show of the year. Woo!
what?
Ev, can you believe it? It's already been 52 weeks. 51 technically. Because we
My
missed one.
score is a 7.01, so a 7.
Damn.
I have not changed from earlier in the year.
Solid
Okay.
7.
Solid 7.
And then my score.
Divided by. Oh! Wow, would you look at that? You've actually gone down from earlier. You were at a 7.7 earlier. You're at a 7.
So this is a C year for the two of us. I like that. I was like, there's no way I gave this year a B. I don't believe it.
You almost gave it a C average, you know. You were there for a bit. Steven, if it's a 7 for our overall score, then
7-7. Someone take us gambling. I'm just kidding.
well, does that mean we've agreed on the year collectively with added with guests? Does that mean we end the year with a triple correct?
The world's ending.
Oh God! Oh God! Oh God!
No, I think it's fine. We'll be
Please
fine.
don't. Please don't.
The Matrix has crashed, and we're about to be purged.
Oh no! It's a 7.
Of course, it's a 7. If you gave a 7 and I gave a 7, of course it's a freaking 7.
It's a lower score than both you and I for the year. 6.98. You gave it a 7.23. I gave it a 7. Oh, actually, yeah, no, yours is below. Never mind. Because I would have had to go up. It was like a 7.25. Yours is a 7.23.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
What do you get? These get degrees, man. We're past.
What an average movie year.
Kind of disappointing. I mean, if 5 is supposed to be our average, then 7 is.
You know what? Actually, no. 7's good. 7's good. 7 was a good year. You're right. Because last year we gave shit less than that. You're right. Because last year I gave things a 5.5. You gave it a 6, and I gave it and overall it was a 7 somehow. I don't know how the fuck that happened.
All right, I'm not gonna question it.
I still got I feel like I still messed with the math somewhere, and I just don't want to fix it.
Yeah, that math is a year old. No one fixes year old homework.
Matter. Yeah, seriously. I don't care after this point. All right. Well then.
So, ready for next week / starting of 2022?
Yep. The docket has been moved. So
I'm not prepared. Like literally, I can't believe it's already 2022.
Uh-huh.
Okay, okay.
Steven, do you know what that really means, by the way? We've almost been doing this for 5 years.
Been a while.
No, did we start in 2018 or 2017? We started in 2017, right? No, it was 2018. So we've almost been doing this for 4 years.
It's been a long road.
All right, so next year.
Yeah, I have the first folder
January.
is 2018.
Okay, yeah. We're starting out on the first week. We're doing This Is the End and Don't Look Up. Second week, Lady the Tramp, 2009 live action animation or live action.
Live action animation, yeah.
Yeah,
Live
whatever.
action adaptation.
Yeah, and Mulan. Week after that, we're doing Scream and Five Cream.
5 Cream.
We're doing Scream at 96 in 2000 and 2020. Or 2022. 22. I don't know. I don't know. That's weird. Anyways, and then we're ending the month off with 101 Dalmatians, 102 Dalmatians, and Cruella. Not looking forward to that. But I am looking forward to a lot of movies that are coming out this year. Like we have some, like to name a few that I'm looking forward to. The Batman released its third trailer, and holy shit, it looks so fucking good.
I have not seen that yet, honestly. Because everyone knows I don't watch trailers. But
Yeah.
whatever. Fine. All's fine in the world.
Yeah.
There's a few things on here that I also didn't put on here. Like, I think somewhere around July 20th, that show is Mission Impossible 7's coming out. Which doesn't have a title yet. It's just called Mission Impossible 7.
It'll have a good one.
Yeah. And a couple of things. You know, just not prepared. Not prepared for a new year to start. If I'm being completely honest.
Same.
Well,
It has been a blur since the end of 2019.
yes. Yes, it has. How did we get here? Where do we go now?
I don't even know.
Where do we go?
Yeah.
I know where we go. We go to bed. Let's call it the end of the show.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're done here, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, and
On many levels.
Yeah.
This is the end.
I don't know how to.
Don't look up.
No, we're done here. Bye.
I don't know. There's no tangent that I can play off of the end of the year for this one. Like genuinely,
You could sing the Ariana Grande pop song from "Don't Look Up."
Have I seen This Is the End?
Probably. I would think.
Is that the one with Seth Rogen?
No.
Which one's this?
No,
Is the
wait,
End?
no, yeah, that is with Seth Rogen.
Okay.
I think the one you're confusing is The World's End, which is the pub one.
the Simon Pegg one.
Yeah, the Simon Pegg
Okay.
one. Yeah. We can throw that in there too if you want.
No, we're not throwing that in there. Shut up. If we do that, we're doing the fucking the goddamn like the trilogy.
Yeah, the Shaun of the Dead,
It's an ice cream trilogy. I can't remember what it's called. Right? It's like it's named like it's an ice cream. What is his trilogy? Because it's directed by what's his face. We revealed a movie earlier about him this year.
I kind of want you to dig yourself out of this. This is fun. You're like, who is this? It's this person with that stuff.
God damn it, he's done so many great movies.
Yes, he has.
You're right.
There
God
you go.
damn.
Yeah. The movies that you're thinking of, I believe, are Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and World's End Pub, the pub movie.
The Cornetto trilogy.
Cornetto.
The Three Flavors Cornetto trilogy.
Yep. Yeah, I could see us doing all three of those. I do like two of those movies.
Cornettos are a frozen dessert. It's also a pastry and Austrian, but it's cornettos are a little like ice cream cone thing.
Mm-hmm. Used as a hangover cure from Frost's character in Shaun of the Dead. Yeah. Those are the movies that we're doing.
Yep.
Okay, peace out.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
This is the end. Do 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 do.